look at what the pap culture has become. I mean, you can't go to a funeral without being clicked. It's reached there. So I think everything is just too out there, and it's sad. Like for me, it was obviously getting used to the lack of privacy.
The man who makes you laugh is the man that you need.
Has my heart.
Has your heart. It's so well. I mean, it's true.
Oh yeah, I told him you're a fraud आदमी का. तुम बस हंसाते हंसाते मेरा मतलब मेरे से शादी कर ली तुमने. We don't need anyone or anything or any validation from the outside. We know what we have, and it's very, very sacred to us, like you said, and we protect it. Salman will never praise me. He's told me this. He said, if I praise you, it'll go to your head. I'm like, what do you mean?
Never.
Never. It still happens. But of course, I think that then you have to kind of excuse yourself from those sort of situations, right? And do the kind of work that
Like you straight up tell
doesn't
them.
allow that. It's not about telling, not telling and all. If it bothers you so much, you either stop working with those people, right? I wanted to be someone who projected a very healthy body image, and I have done so my entire career. Because I know
Realistic.
people. Yeah, realistic. I've been thin, I've been heavy, I've been somewhere in the middle, and it's fine. I feel if it was any different, I would have been a very different person, right? So yeah, I'm truly grateful that we were brought up so like normally, away from the limelight. 15 years down the line, I'm still here. That is a lot to say by itself. I don't think I want all the noise and everything else that comes along with it.
Hello everybody, I'm Radrani and welcome to Spotlight Sessions podcast. My guest today is an absolute queen. She lives her life by her own rules. She's always been the person who's had confidence in her. She does so many things. Of course, she's an actor, but besides that, she's so talented. You have loved her, you have celebrated her. Let's do that again. I'm talking about Sonakshi Sinha. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you for having me.
Hello.
Hello.
We've planned this for a while.
Radrani.
Sona kitna sona hai. We've known each other for a while. And what I think is incredible about you is how silently you have showed everybody that you can do so many different kind of things. You genuinely are among those people who really hasn't invested so much in trying to put out PR or being a part of the PR game, which is difficult because you're always advised to do that.
Yeah.
You've been this for a while.
Yeah.
तो जब शुरुआत करते हो तो इतने self confident कैसे होते हो सोनाक्षी?
I don't know. I just refuse to play anything other than what I'm actually supposed to be doing right now, and which are my roles. And I think work speaks for itself, right? So 15 years down the line, I'm still here. That is a lot to say by itself. I don't think I want all the noise and everything else that comes along with it. I literally just want to go to set, do my work and come back home and live my life.
So telling me it was easy to say no to all those suggestions that you get when you start out?
No, it definitely wasn't easy, and there probably have been times where I have given into it and probably done things that I wasn't inherently like comfortable doing. But then eventually you reach a point where you're like, leave it now, it's okay. I don't want to do it. I don't feel like doing it. I'm not going to do it.
You said I was clueless, and walking in the sets of Dabangg and all of that. But I want to go there. I want to understand what was going through your mind.
I wasn't doing well in the field. I had just done about one project. I had volunteered at the fashion week through college. I was just about to start out, in fact, and then my whole path changed. Destiny had other plans for me. I landed up in Dabangg, and again, like when I came on set, I was very inexperienced. I had not done any workshops, any classes, any acting classes, dancing classes, kuch nahi. Matlab literally thrown into the deep end of the pool and been told now swim. So whatever I learnt on the job, you know, and for me, I'm the kind of person कि अगर मुझे कोई भी काम दे दो ना मैं वो अच्छे से करूँगी, वरना नहीं करूँगी. So and that's the mantra I follow till today. Like if I don't feel confident enough of being able to do something well, I won't do it. You know.
I remember you telling me this very funny specific incidents that happened in the sets, because like you said, the world was so different for you, right? With everybody, with people holding placards of dialogues, then
Yeah.
and then you trying to understand what the set is like, and then
Yeah.
you have this massive superstar who you are debuting with. Can you tell us some of those anecdotes? Ki wo, it was it was a shock for me that I entered with the placard.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Any other stories you'd like to share? If not,
No, it was just like a very new environment, you know, that I was getting into. In fact, I've been on my dad's film sets also, but I used to come back very quickly because when you're on the other side, it's not a very interesting process.
Sure.
You know, filmmaking, you need a lot of patience. There's a lot of things that are being repeated, takes are being redone, lighting takes so much time in between shots, and also as a spectator, you're like very lost. But when I went as an actor, it was a whole different ball game. It was a very different experience. It was a fun experience. You realized how much goes into making one film, how many people are involved, how much effort is involved. So yeah, it just turns your whole perspective on things.
I think आपकी upbringing वैसी हुई थी. You were treated like couldn't be a more normal childhood, and you would, you know, and you wanted to be like that as well. Do you think the way you were brought up has actually kind of made you the person sitting in front of me, and a lot of it, the confidence or the humility and the detachment that you feel from this world?
Absolutely, I think that's all that has brought me to where I am today, and makes me handle things the way I do. I feel if it was any different, I would have been a very different person, right? So yeah, I'm truly grateful that we were brought up so like normally, away from the limelight.
Away from the limelight.
Yeah, I
Sure.
like that.
But do you remember instances when you were growing up, watching your father, who was so popular, he continues to be, but he was also experimenting with so many different kind of roles, right? It must have been, when you watch your father, there is so much that you learn as a person, and also when you're watching him as this person who's been revered by the world. How was that experience, those observations that you made in your childhood?
You know, it was so inbuilt into our lives that I don't remember it being specifically different from anything else.
Sure.
Like, as far as I remember, I always was watching my dad on screen. But to us, he was our dad, right? So then I think when he entered politics, that's when I realized that, oh my God, like this is serious business, and like a lot of people love him. I realized what fame is at that point of time, because when I was watching his movies, I was very little, so I just felt he's in that TV and like that's what he's doing, that's his job. Maybe he goes inside the TV and comes out.
But
as a
child,
kid,
yeah, of course.
So like I had no idea what that kind of stardom meant at that point in time, because I had only seen it from my house in my TV. I had not seen it outside. So yeah, it was very normal. Yeah, like they really kept us away from all of it, and it was easier then because we didn't have this pap culture, we didn't have social media, we didn't have any of that. So it was much easier to be low key and just away from it all.
Your mother also is among the sweetest people.
Yeah.
And you share this beautiful bond with her, this beautiful friendship, where you can be whoever you are. Not everybody gets to have that kind of bond, and I think you do. I feel like that also has added to who you are again. Tell us about that relationship that has evolved. जैसे आप छोटे होते हो कैसा एक वो अलग होता है, and then you eventually grow up to today. That bond only kind of evolves into something more beautiful.
Yeah, no, so I think my mom has always been the disciplinarian at home, because my dad has always been so
Chill?
chill.
That's the word.
That's the word I'm looking for. I think इतनी छूट दे रखी थी ना कि somebody had to like
Good cop, bad cop,
yeah,
na?
yeah, absolutely. So I think growing up, we were kind of, very aware of like the things that she's teaching us, what is right, what is wrong, what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing. Matlab, माँ आँख दिखाती थी and we used to be like, oh, okay, we can't do this. So she's always been the disciplinary. And then I think once you grow up and grow up into being your own person, then she kind of, let the reins go, and then she realized that, okay, I've brought up a nice human being, so I think she'll be fine out in the world. And yeah, that's when I think the friendship sets in.
And were the sibling fights epic for her to handle?
Epic between those two, because they are the twins and they are the boys. No? So all the roughhousing used to happen over there. I was mostly, and they were in boarding school. So they were quite the handful for her, but I was, I think, the more controlled child, I feel. Matlab easygoing child.
How would you describe your personality as eventually when you became a teenager and stuff? How would you say? Would you say you, because, we all, especially women, go through these phases of, because the whole society looks at us so differently.
Yeah.
और वो societal pressure की वजह से मुझे लगता है all women are so different at different phases.
Yeah.
You're different as a child and then teenager, and then you look at yourself differently. How was that for you, Sona?
I think I was a bit of a rebel because I was so protected, and even though I was a girl, my nature was very like a boy. I was a tomboy growing up. I used to love sports. I used to just be very boisterous. I wanted to explore the world. I wanted to just do things that, on my own. I wanted to be independent very soon.
Yeah.
But being a girl, I think every set of parents is quite protective about a girl in their house. So those were the things I wanted to break out of at that point in time. So whether it was going to college by train and all, they were like, nahi gaadi hai na, to gaadi mein jao. I was like, nahi, mujhe train mein jana hai. So I would really have to fight to be able to do those things, and I think I did quite well, so yeah.
But when you are figuring things out and when you are growing up as a woman, I think it's very different from how the world is looking at you and how we are looking at ourselves, right? When you have supportive parents and when you have supportive friends around you, you don't look at the harshness of the world. How was that growing up phase into becoming a woman for you? Because it's hard for us sometimes.
Yeah, but it's the only option we have.
Sure, yeah, 100%.
You have to grow up into it, you have to ease up into it, you have to have your own experiences, you have to learn sometimes the hard way, all of that, I think, and everybody has different experiences, right? So for me also, I think I'm not going to say it was difficult and it was a struggle and all of that. No.
Sure.
They were my experiences to live, and I maybe at that point in time it felt difficult, but now when I look back at it, I'm glad I had that experience, because that's made me who I am today. So yeah, I think everybody goes through their own journey.
Very few of us can truly love ourselves. Like I said, we look at ourselves and we look at the lens of, oh, we're too thin, we're too fat, we're too not pretty or whatever. And we get caught up in that circle of and a lot happens to a lot of women.
Yeah, it's a vicious circle.
And very young female actors who are prepping for it, it's even worse, because you look at the people that you want to be like and they are perfect. How did you deal with those insecurities, which all of us go through? And and of course finally to loving yourself, loving your body with the way we should.
I think I became that person, because while growing up I didn't have that role model, to look up to and be like somebody who tells me that it's okay to be how you are. So then I just became that person. I feel like, and a lot of young girls come up to me and they tell me that we love your confidence, you're just so comfortable in your own skin, you inspired us to lose weight, It's nice.
Yeah.
And that is really what matters to me, more than the noise and the negativity.
Sure.
And I think that's what you should hold on to. I wanted to be someone who projected a very healthy body image, and I have done so my entire career. Because I know
realistic.
Realistic. I've I've been thin, I've been heavy, I've been somewhere in the middle, and it's fine.
You didn't let that break you. Everybody around, and you came to a point, like you said, because everything during your debut, they kept on and on about the body transformation. It was great. But then post that, they would still keep talking about the body and this and that. And but I think it took guts to kind of block it out. How did you do that, Sona? I think blocking that out and then finally being who you are is where I think we hope we all reach.
It's a process. It's not like it happens overnight. You have to train your mind to do it, to be strong, to shut out the negative and just, be receptive to the positive. It takes time. It didn't happen overnight. So it didn't happen at that point. Maybe in first, second, third year of my career, maybe I did let it affect me. But then after that, you reach a space where you're like, you're constantly working, you're doing good work, you're enjoying yourself, and really that is what you're working for, right? And you kind of shut it out then.
I want to know if you ever, if it ever frustrated you to a point where you were like, I have to do something about it. Were there moments like that?
I didn't have it as bad as the girls have it today, like I said, because of look at what social media has become.
Yeah.
Look at what the pap culture has become. I mean, you can't go to a funeral without being clicked. It's reached there. So I think everything is just too out there. And it's sad. For me, it was obviously getting used to the lack of privacy, the intrusive questions, and then pap culture started coming in. Like, I found it very bizarre that I'm going to have a meal and you're clicking me outside a restaurant, or I want to go to the airport and my chappals and my comfortable clothes and stuff, and not make it a style statement, but you're there to click me now. So beyond the point, you have to start ignoring these things, right? And just live the way you want to live. So yeah, I mean, it did take a bit of getting used to, but there are ways to maneuver around it. Yeah, I think, which is why I also became more closed, I feel. Yeah,
that now I will stop that access.
Yeah, I don't want everyone to have access to me
and then comment
and no, it's not about the comments and all. Why no? I want to put out what I want to put out. I want to give you access to what I want to give you access
100%.
to, which is my work, and that's it.
Yeah. And I think eventually you will also have to take care of your mental health and peace, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And whatever works for you.
Yeah.
It did?
Yeah, it really did.
And
you
why
have to
not?
protect your peace.
You want to? Who else?
You have to.
Because you had to walk up the next day after you're going through your reading articles, you're going clicked, and you have to go back to working on a set.
Yeah.
We were talking about your brothers and you. Growing up, I mean, I have a sibling. I know how it works. You were like, okay, I'm the good child, and they were. But how was this bond? Because I obviously now on a workspace, when you have to work, it gets more interesting. So I want to know, how did that transition happen? Are brothers protective about about you? Are you the one who is the stricter one? How is that rapport between the?
No, I'm not the stricter one. They were always in boarding school, yeah.
Sure.
So I was always over here and they were in Kodaikanal. So even in those formative, growing up years, it was a very separate space that we were all three of us were in. They were together, I was here. So, and they're 6 years older than me. So that also does make a difference, right? And but I think on set while shooting, I thought we would have squabbles and have disagreements on a lot of things, but it was surprisingly smooth. Yeah, and I think the only silly argument we had was on the last day of shoot for the last shot of the film, which was happening in London, and I had to be having some ice cream in the shot, and so I chose which ice cream I wanted. It was some bhalta color, and Kussh was like, no, this doesn't work for me because the color is completely off and it's not going with the scene or whatever. It's too unserious. So what do you mean unserious? It's an ice cream. So then we had an argument on which ice cream I should, because I was stuck on the flavor and he was stuck on the color. Then luckily it was so hot, it was some heat wave going on in London, that day the ice cream only melted. So we couldn't have it in the shot. So nature solved this problem for us there and then.
But when the first time when you were planning and he was planning to debut as a director and all of that and plan Nikita Roy, it must have been kind of surreal, right? You see your own sibling and they've obviously cheered for you and watched you grow into this wonderful actor, and now it's his turn.
Yeah.
How was that conversation? How did that go?
No, it was good because he's been wanting to for a while. He's assisted, filmmakers, including Sanjay sir and Abhinav Kashyap, both my directors, and he's been a part of a lot of writing, scripts. He's made his ads. So for this moment, he's been waiting for a while, and when it happened, it's everybody was really happy. And to happen with a script like this script had come to me actually very long back when nobody of the film right now is involved with it. And then it disappeared. And I used to keep thinking about it. And then when he got me this script, I was like, oh my God, this script has come to me. And it's a really nice script because I keep thinking about it. And it's come back to me. So I feel whatever's written for you, it comes to you only. And like the way everything played out was just perfect.
Does it take you back to the time when you signed your first film, right? And when you kind of, when that moment happened for you as well with Salman?
Mine though was like in such a blur it happened. Yeah, like mine was a real blur. I don't even know when it happened.
But I'm sure, today when he sees you, he must have discussed about how, Salman must have discussed about how he is also impressed with the kind of evolution you have as an actor today, right?
Salman will never praise me. He's told me this. He said, if I praise you, it'll go to your head. I'm like, what do you mean?
Never.
Never.
Not in front of you.
Not in front of me.
Not in front of you. But I'm sure he's had conversations with your parents and other friends and stuff about it.
And they've all told me about it, so I know what you think.
You must be so proud, right? Sometimes you're just like...
Yeah, but he'll never praise me in front of my face.
I'm going to ask you this. I know you are a very self-aware person. You definitely have evolved as an actor, and it's a journey. I want you to tell me some specific moments where you thought you need to make changes, the kind of scripts that you wanted to do. Those moments are very important in kind of this evolution of an actor.
Absolutely. No, I think I've had a very wholesome journey, from the very beginning. I was really fortunate to be a part of, some of the biggest films in the beginning of my career.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of gave me the strength and courage to shoulder films then on my own. And moving forward, I think I've tried to portray very strong female characters on screen. Since Akira. I think after Akira, I've done some lovely roles and which I've thoroughly enjoyed. Some might have worked, some might have not worked, but that's okay because the experience and the respect as an actor that I got from doing those roles has been tremendous. So that's always a plus point.
It's so interesting you said this because one of the roles that you did very early and one of my favorites, and you know which this is, has been Lootera. And I'm sure it's in your list of favorite roles as well.
It is.
But what I particularly loved about that is the raw innocence that you brought to the character, because even then it was still in your early days of understanding the craft and all of that. And and Vikramaditya always said that he was very sure of who he was casting, because the world around questioned that in the beginning, right? They were like, why did you cast her? But he was so sure. I want us to talk about that moment and your experience back then.
Again, he just came to my house and he narrated the film to me, and he was fresh off. He had made Udaan, just Udaan at that point in time. And of course, it was a critically acclaimed film, and everybody was talking about this new filmmaker who's like so different and so good. So I was like, of course I want to hear the film, and I heard it, and there were people around me at that point in time who were advising me, guiding me, all of that. And they all told me, don't do this film. Because it was probably the fourth film that I was going to start working on. So still very new. Like fresh off.
Of course.
In the start of my career. And they said, nahi, you need to be a very mature actress to do this kind of a role. बहुत मंजी भी actress चाहिए इसके लिए, तो आप अभी क्यों करना चाहते हो? See the kind of films you're doing, all this, commercial pot boilers and like masale films and all of that. ये क्यों करना है, बीच में ये आ जाएगा and all. And I just felt so connected to that script and that role that I wanted to do it anyhow. And I was like, just because you're telling me I can't do it, I'll show you what I can do now. And I did it. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted to do. And I think that was the kind of film that I wanted And that's why I did the film.
Love that.
So the wrongest reason, please don't do anything in Khunnas like this ever, but it just paid off for me.
Why not? Why not? No, I think sometimes the number of times that you go with your instinct is the more.
Yeah, that was pure instinct. Like I knew I wanted to be that character. I just knew.
And you gave it your all.
Yeah.
Was there a favorite moment for you in Lootera? There are so many for us as viewers.
That whole film was magic. I don't know how we made it, what we did, how it became what it became. It was just like, and it's a very once in a lifetime thing that happens.
Yeah.
Like,
starting that early with choosing things like Lootera, and of course, you know, we just had the massive Hira Mandi, which we spoke so much about, and coming to Nikita Roy.
Yeah.
Again, a zone that you haven't tried too much before. And like I was telling you, you're giving me the whole investigator, our Sherlock Holmes vibes. But it must be so much fun to again do something that has not been explored too much, especially for our women.
Yeah.
In Hindi industry at least.
It was a lot of fun. And you know what, like, I instantly connected to it because it just reminded me of, you know, the Nancy Drew books we used to read when we were kids.
Yeah.
And those stories kept us so entertained. They just took our imaginations for such a wild ride. And this is one of those kind of films which does that. It's a world that's created. It's this character that I feel people will like really connect with and root for when they watch it. So yeah, it's fun.
Tell me the top 5 characters in your career that you have loved. Difficult, but I know you have. Sometimes, right?
I love Rajo, Pakhi, Noor, Akira, Dahad, Hira Mandi. I have lots.
I love it.
Yeah.
But while you were making that shift, right, from deciding that, nee yaar, I will take charge of what I want to do. I'm going to play women that are, you know, kick-ass or even layered or even messy on screen, hai na? The world around you still is not prepared, hai na? The industry had its own versions of, they try to bracket you and they tell you, nahi, isi tarah ke roles karo, ya tum ye nahi kar sakte. How did you navigate through all of that? And what were the most annoying comments that you were, you know, hearing when you were trying to do your own thing?
No, the general, like, people who've never acted in their life talking about acting and what it entails and involves and stuff, and you don't take them seriously, I feel. Certain people you must take seriously because those are the ones with the wells of experience and who've been a part of this and who've, you know, worked for years, interacted with directors, producers, actors. Those are the people you need to take seriously. So there were good stuff and bad stuff. Certain times criticisms as well, but mostly constructive. And I feel I've taken those into account and done pretty well for myself.
Absolutely, Sona.
Yeah.
We had a most wonderful chat last time when we had the round table. The distinction and the differentiation with the discrimination between the treatment of the male and the female actors, and constantly being reminded that you have to fight for it and they're already there. You know, how do you look at this conversation today? Which I remember you had mentioned during in that round table, right? Like the fact that the male actors are mostly taking the calls, or you know, their teams are, everything is about the main male actor.
No, it's very, it still happens. But of course, I think then you have to kind of excuse yourself from those sort of situations, right? And do the kind of work that
like you straight up tell
doesn't
them.
allow that. No, it's not about that. It's not about telling, not telling and all. If it bothers you so much, you either stop working with those people, right? So
that, which is what you did eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
But do you think there is a little bit more hope now? You know, you have actors like you have a lot of female actors who often saying that, you know, we just want to do our job. You know, can you stop being so insecure? Because it does impact your career, right, Sona?
I will pick and choose from the things that are coming to me and what I find interesting and what I feel I would be good in. So, yeah.
There's always a fear that they say, a lot of female actors said that, you know, we feel that if we speak straight up, it will kind of impact the lives that we have. But you've been someone at certain stages of life that you have stood up for yourself. What will you tell to the ones who are probably suffering in silence?
Yeah, it's not easy to take that stand and to take on somebody or whatever, but like I feel it's important. It's up to you now how much you think you're okay to let go of. And I always believe in being honest. So if anybody is going through something, I feel just be vocal. At least you'll know that you tried to make a change.
Well said.
Yeah.
You go back to the time when you said your mother obviously was strict, and you know mothers are protective because when you come in this industry you'll have to deal with all kinds of people. What were the few of the advices that you were getting from your mom? Because you know she's kind of seen it all, and I know that she's protective. Anybody would be.
Yeah, I know. I think my mother just told me just stay true to yourself and your values, and I think you should be fine. And I think they trusted their own upbringing enough to kind of, you know, let their daughter go into the industry as well. And I feel both of them coming from the industry also helped. Because of course they've also had some wonderful experiences, might not have had some great experiences, but those were my experiences to have, you know, and learn from them. So
what are the difficulties that you face today as an actor?
Today I face a lot of monotony in the kind of scripts that are coming out. So I really have to go through a lot to find that one thing that I really like and would want to do.
Which is sad.
Yeah.
Do you think it is because everybody just wants to hit the jackpot at the box office?
Yeah. Nobody is in it. I feel like the creativity is gone, you know.
It's so sad to hear that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's scary.
You found your soulmate.
Yeah.
We love Zaheer. and I'm very, very happy for you, and you know that. We're also a sucker for romantic stories because yours gives me hope. So we'll go there. Salman likes to take credit for it, and he says that I think I have a little credit. That,
has
he? He has jokingly said in some places.
Lovely. But he should.
He should.
We did meet because of him.
Oh,
yeah.
So tell us how that happened. And I only feel that when you're truly in love and you know you have a partner like that, you only grow.
Yeah, it's true. So yeah, we met at Galaxy only at one of the parties and hit it off instantly. I think I was very amused by this very self-assured, confident guy who was about to make his debut and was being so chill with me. He was just very confident, which is what I love most about him.
And then you also realized that you're kind of best of friends, didn't you?
Yeah.
Because
no, we became best of friends. I think that's how our relationship started. And I think that's a great foundation for any relationship.
In the way you kept your wedding sacred, even though the world around you was erupting with their own opinions. But you want to enjoy that moment.
Yeah.
It's your moment.
Yeah.
You didn't let it impact.
Yeah.
People discussing your faith, I think, was in such low taste.
Yeah,
but you guys.
Was. And it still is when they do.
What keeps you sane? Because it's your story. You want to take charge of the narrative.
We keep each other sane.
I love that.
Yeah. I think we don't need anyone or anything or any validation from the outside. We know what we have and it's very, very sacred to us, like you said. And we protect it. We celebrate it. We enjoy it. We flaunt it. We love it.
But I have to talk about the beautiful wedding pictures. I think every picture was such a natural thing. You all didn't try too hard to do stuff. Describe that moment to us.
Nothing. It was just us being us, getting married the way we wanted to get married, and they were just beautiful moments captured. They weren't planned in any way. They were just really part of those moments, and which is why I think they're so beautiful.
That sari has a story, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's my mom's sari.
So beautiful. When you were getting married, does there an advice from the mother that sort of changes?
Yeah, I mean, she was overwhelmed with the entire thing, and yeah, it's a very big moment for her, especially because I've literally been um, there with her for so many years, and suddenly I'm going to be staying somewhere else. So it was a very overwhelming scenario for her, and I think she handled it pretty well. You know, even on the day that one hug she gave me, and she got emotional, and that was it. And she was like, it's okay. And then I think she saw that where her daughter's going and like who she's with, and she's actually genuinely happy. So that's why I think she was okay. My anniversary is in 2 days, by the way.
Oh God,
Yeah.
of course it's in 2 days. Oh, I thought it's next month. No, it's this month.
No, it's this month, and it's in 2 days. And
So you'll complete a
it
year.
doesn't feel like it. Yeah, I will. It doesn't feel like it at all.
What have you learned in this almost a year?
Nothing's changed for me. Like, there's no learning or anything. Literally nothing's changed. I'm living my best life.
Sure.
I'm so happy staying with my soulmate. You know, it's fun. I like it. I enjoy it.
What are a few things that you think you've learned from him?
A lot.
Yeah?
Yeah, a lot. How to be a more open person, like how to be more generous, for sure. How to be receptive to things. I've learned patience from him because he makes me very impatient.
But I love that you all have that natural sort of friendship and
Tests my patience. So he's made me a more patient human being.
But you know how much fun the world has watching all those fun videos?
Yeah, at my expense.
But you know, you always know the man who makes you laugh is the man that you
Has
need
my
to.
heart.
That's your heart. It's so well said, but it's true.
Oh yeah, I told him you're a fraud आदमी का. तुम बस हंसाते हंसाते मेरा मतलब मेरे से शादी कर ली तुमने.
Is the proposal that funny as well?
No, the proposal was actually beautiful and sweet.
Yeah? But did it happen?
No, it was in Finland, under the Northern Lights. He proposed to us.
But that's the most romantic thing
it
ever.
was beautiful. Yeah.
You know, it's great. We're going to talk about some of what have you learned from some of the co-stars that we have in your amazing films that you've done. Okay, let's go. We're going to start first with Nikita Roy's co-star, Mr. Paresh Rawal. I'll name a few co-stars and you tell me what you've learned, how that experience was. What do you learn from Mr. Rawal?
I mean, from his body of work, how to be versatile, I think.
Good one.
Yeah, and yeah.
Mr. Akshay Kumar.
Punctuality.
And also tolerance to pranks. I still
yeah,
remember.
also that. Yeah. Did he do that chammach wala on you?
No, but he had done other pranks. I remember actually during Mission Mangal, I remember you were the one pranking him with the chair.
I didn't prank him. He told me hit and hum sob pe prank karenge and all like that. He did. So.
Oh, that.
Yeah, it was fully his idea.
It was, but I tolerance to pranks also.
It
Understood.
was fully his idea.
I love it.
I don't do these stupid things.
So tolerance has increased towards.
Yeah.
Thanks. Then of course Vidya Balan.
She's too nice, man. Just have to be positive all the time. Yeah, she's that person. Like, she just lights up a room.
Manisha Koirala.
Oh, hard work. I mean, she's been through a lot, and to be standing for those 16 to 18 hours that we were shooting Hira Mandi, like giving it her best, and she's just amazing. Like, I'm in awe of her. She's a strong woman.
Is it Salman Khan?
What I've learned from him is not to take things too seriously. Yeah.
And still be that person.
Yeah, just do your work. Aaram se. Kaam hai tumhara.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Okay. You know, I'll end with the last two questions, of course. It's been wonderful sitting in here and listening to your journey. But I'll have to ask you, if I ask you to name the most important moment in your career, what would you, it can be one or two, what would you state and why?
I think the first most important was my debut, Dabangg, because that was a complete detour from what I had planned for myself in life. And the second one would be when I decided to do a film like Akira, taking on more prominent in the lead roles. Yeah.
I love that. We're asking about co-stars. I also like to ask about Ranveer and Shahid, because I feel like, again, there was this effortless chemistry that you guys had. Tell me how that experience must have been.
With Lootera, I think I was actually really appreciative of Ranveer's work before that. His debut was amazing.
Yeah.
And at that point of time, he was one of the newer actors that I was going to be working with as well. I mean, I was also 2-3 films down only.
Yeah.
And he was, I think, 1 film down, 1 or 2 films down.
Correct.
And it was nice to work with, a fresh, new talent as well. And he did really well in Lootera. Like, hats off to him. It was so against his personality, what he played, Varun. And like, he killed it. Yeah, so fun.
Sonakshi, here's the last question. You've made some beautiful friendships along in this way. Yes, you're a private person, but the friends also help you stay again sane in this chaos. Tell me some friends in the industry that have really held you together and helped you. And I would also like you to end with an advice to a lot of young girls who will probably want to be actors today.
Okay. My closest friends in the industry are possibly Huma and Saqib. Yeah. I have made friends along the way. A lot of acquaintances, people I'm in touch with, people I've not been in touch with, but these guys have been like
Throughout.
really there since we became friends. So yeah. And an advice I would like to give young girls who want to act, just stay true to yourself. I feel I think that's originality is, I think, somewhere
Missing.
disappearing, and I feel it's very important to be unique and true to yourself.
I 100% agree. Stay as authentic as the real Sona. Asli Sona, like we like calling her. Thank you so much, Sonakshi.
Thank you, Radhani.
It's always so wonderful looking back at some of the most interesting moments in your life and celebrating you again. Really cheering for you. I always will.
Thank
And
you.
all the best for Nikita Roy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Watch it and tell me how you like it.
100%.